we discovered by accident, we had this one site called Cosmic Fingerprints, and it's basically about astronomy and religion and where did the universe come from and stuff like that. And so we're advertising this site on Facebook, and there used to be this report that they've since taken away. And we looked at the report, and the report showed us that in the top 5 books, there was some really obvious ones that didn't really tell you anything. But Brave New World in 1984 showed up as 2 of the top 5 books that people who liked the site also liked. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. And you could also look at the movies and TV shows and all this stuff, and it was really interesting. And so we did something. We added one sentence to the landing page of this site. And the one sentence just talked about Brave New World in 1984. And what happened was the opt-in rate from Google traffic, from the display network, which had nothing to do with these books whatsoever. We didn't change it. We didn't do anything. It went up 11%.
Just by one sentence.
Just by one sentence. And it wasn't in bold, and it wasn't in the headline or anything. Wow. What's that about? Well, this opened up an insight that I call right angle marketing.
Yeah.
And right angle marketing is every niche has these things in common that everybody knows about. And then they have this other list of things that nobody ever notices. Okay? What we discovered was that people who like to argue about science are usually into science fiction. Okay, and then you mention a couple of famous science fiction books where you talk about Star Trek or something, and you get this emotional connection.
Yep.
Okay, well that means that if you had a blog about the philosophy of science, the best thing you could do is throw in something about Star Trek or Star Wars or 1984 or something like that every third blog post, and mix it up with some entertainment, and you'll easily and immediately get more connection and more engagement with your audience, especially if what you have is it's factual and it's heavy. You know, it doesn't matter how fact-oriented a person is, they want to lighten up every now and then, right? Or if you want to make a point, why don't you talk about a Star Trek episode, right? How come you only got to talk about science papers or something like that? Another example of right angle marketing would be I knew this guy who he had a Christian Filipino mail order bride service.
That's intriguing. He's competing against my Japanese Muslim mail order bride service.
Right. So basically, you know, if you wanted a Christian wife and you couldn't find one dating and everything, you could give this guy $7,000 and he would give you a bride. And successful business is going along. And this is an old Dan Kennedy story. Dan says to him, so do your customers have anything in common that like hobbies or careers or anything like that? And he's like, well, I don't know. And Dan says, well, go look through all your files and your customer records and look for something and come back and tell me what you find. And he comes back and he goes, guess what? 40% of my customers are truck drivers. Okay, what does truck drivers have to do with Christian mail order brides? Well, trucking is a very lonely profession, and truckers are usually people that do not have the finest of social skills, and they're on the road all the time. So that makes perfect sense.
Totally. Yeah.
That's right angle marketing. Trucking and mail order brides.
Yeah.
And there's this intersection where they meet in the middle.
Yep.
So what does he do? He stops advertising in USA Today, and he puts flyers between the condom machine and the cigarette machine next to the men's bathroom in the truck stop. Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the advertising waste goes way down. The effectiveness goes way up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's because you find these intersections. Okay? So, those two stories, what that illustrates is by the way, if that guy, that was 10 years ago, but if that guy's mail order bride customers had been on Facebook, he would have been able to figure that out.
Absolutely.